The night was cold and the ocean was calm. A giant ship stood ready to make history. The RMS Titanic. It was April 10th, 1912, when this magnificent ship set sail from Southampton, England, heading for New York City. The Titanic wasn't just any ship. It was the largest moving object ever built at that time. People called it the ship of dreams. Some even said it was unsinkable. The Titanic was truly a floating palace with marble floors, golden lights, grand staircases, swimming pools, and luxurious dining halls. It carried over 2,200 people, rich passengers in luxury cabins, and hundreds of ordinary families hoping for a better life in America. Everyone believed they were aboard the safest ship in the world. But no one knew that in just a few days, this dream would turn into one of the greatest tragedies in history. So, what really happened that night? Why did the Titanic, a ship built with the latest technology, sink on its very first journey? On the night of April 14th, 1912, the Titanic was sailing through the icy waters of the North Atlantic. The weather was freezing, but the sea looked calm, almost too calm. The lookout crew was watching carefully, but there were no binoculars that time. They had been accidentally left behind. Around 11:40 p.m., one of the lookouts shouted, "Iceberg right ahead." The officers tried to turn the ship and slow it down, but it was too late. Within seconds, the giant iceberg scraped along the ship's right side, tearing open several parts of the hull below the waterline. But here's the shocking part. The iceberg didn't cut a giant hole like in movies. Instead, it caused small cracks and gaps in the steel plates, allowing seawater to pour in through 5 of the ship's 16 watertight compartments. The Titanic was designed to stay afloat even if 4 compartments were flooded. But 5 was one too many. Scientists later discovered that the steel used in the Titanic became brittle in the freezing temperatures. The metal couldn't handle the shock of the impact. Also, the iron rivets that held the plates together were made of a weaker material, which snapped under pressure. These small flaws added up, and the world's strongest ship started to break apart, one compartment at a time. As water rushed in, the bow in the front part began to sink, lifting the back of the ship high into the air. The lights flickered, the band played music to keep people calm, and lifeboats began to be lowered. But there was another tragic mistake. The Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats. It had only 20, which could hold almost half the passengers. Why? Because at that time, safety rules were based on a ship's size, not the number of people aboard. Many lifeboats even left half empty because people believed the Titanic wouldn't actually sink. By 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, just 2 hours and 40 minutes after the collision, the Titanic broke into 2 pieces and disappeared beneath the freezing ocean. More than 1,500 people lost their lives that night, not just because of an iceberg, but because of overconfidence, design flaws, and lack of preparation. When rescue ships arrived hours later, they found empty lifeboats floating in the silent sea, a heartbreaking reminder of what had happened. The tragedy shocked the world and forced people to rethink everything about safety at sea. New international laws were passed, making lifeboats mandatory for everyone on board. Regular safety drills became compulsory. Ships were required to maintain 24-hour radio watch. The lessons learned from the Titanic changed maritime safety forever. But beyond the science and engineering, the Titanic also taught us something deeper. It showed that even the grandest creations of human hands are not stronger than nature. It reminded the world to stay humble, to never call anything unsinkable. It reminded us that no matter how powerful or advanced we think we are, wisdom, caution and kindness will always matter more than pride. The Titanic may have sunk over 100 years ago, but its story still sails through time, teaching every generation about courage, responsibility and humanity. Because every life lost that night helped make the future journey safer for millions. So the next time you hear about the Titanic, don't just think of it as a tragedy. Think of it as a turning point, a story that began as a dream, faced disaster, but ended by changing the world for the better. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Page Pulse by Lee, where every story hides a lesson worth learning. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind and keep exploring. Signing off, Page Pulse by Lee. See you next time.